On Estuary News tonight, we'll have a roundup of the latest news headlines and all the latest sports news ahead of the weekend. And I'll be reviewing the week's regional papers with my guest, Liz Bennett, Managing Director of The Ropewalk in Barton. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Friday's programme with me, Luke Adams. Almost 2 years on from its closure in January 2016, Hull's largest and most historic theatre is almost ready for opening. The Hull New Theatre will reopen on the 16th of September, welcoming world-class performances and shows. The £16 million refurbishment sees a new state-of-the-art technical and backstage infrastructure, a new look restaurants and bars and flexible space for community use. It forms part of Hull City Council's £100 million capital investment programme designed to regenerate the city's economy. Lincolnshire Police are appealing for witnesses after a teenager was assaulted in Ingermells. The 14-year-old boy was walking back to a caravan along Walls Lane last Sunday evening when he was assaulted from behind a hedge and punched twice in the face. Police would like to speak to anyone who was in the area at the time who could help with enquiries. It's not too late to register for Lifestyle 2017 and spend the summer making a difference in the community. That's the message from Humberside Police. The annual project sees teams of up to 5 young friends decide on a project that will improve their local community and make it happen. The closing date for registering teams is on Monday. Katie Hardy, Community Engagement Coordinator at Humberside Police, says the project makes a real difference to community engagement.
Lifestyle is Humberside Police's flagship youth engagement project. We've been running since 1989, so in the last 28 years we've had quite a lot of young people take part. We've had 160,000 over the years with 2.5 million hours given up to their local communities, so we try and engage as many young people to get involved in social action over the summer holidays.
People and young children can get involved with Lifestyle through either contacting us directly through 101 and asking for the community engagement team at Grimsby, or alternatively they can contact us through the website. They can do so on our normal Humberside Police website and then /lifestyle.
People should get involved in Lifestyle because it gives them the opportunity to give something back to their communities, and it's also really beneficial to them because it looks good on a CV, on an application to university or college, so it gives them a lot of life skills that they can transfer elsewhere. So by working in a team, learning something about project management, working about communication and engaging with others, it always benefits you later on. It's
entirely up to the groups what they get involved in. So for instance, some people have been involved in organising events with the Carnival at Cleethorpes previously in the past. Other people will get involved in community projects where they help to perhaps clean neighbours' windows and just help other people within their own community. But the good thing about Lifestyle is it is entirely up to them. So long as that the activity they're having is having a benefit to the members of the community that they live in, then that's entirely up to them, whatever they decide to do.
A new anthology by writers is now available in Hull. Lost Properties is a creative writing group in the city, formed after a request for such a group was made by the City of Culture team. The group have published an anthology, also titled Lost Properties, that is available from across the city today. Writer Kerry Marsh explains what it's all about.
I've been a part of the Lost Property Writers Group, which is an LGBT writers group that came together for a number of workshops every week with a local writer called Tom Wells. We met and took part in activities, writing activities, and then we actually decided that we would put our stories forward, what we worked on each week, and put them together into a publication which could be shared with the community, but also everybody in Hull that's celebrating 2017, as well as the LGBT 50 Pride celebrations. So this is it. There's lots of different writing. There's a lot of different types of writers in the group. So we've got letters, we've got stories, we've got diary entries, poems. So a real wide range, but it's nearly all kind of from a personal point of view, which is really good. I think it was important to have the group because we talked about celebrating Pride, celebrating the LGBT 50, and what other ways we could do it. So as a group of creatives, not everybody wants to go to Pride and dance to cheesy music or have a drink or, celebrate in that sort of way. We've got lots of different ways that we'd like to celebrate our community. So I think in a creative way, it was really important to get a bunch of creatives together that could express themselves, show pride, show love and equality and inclusivity in a different way, and that's what the writers group did, which was really good fun.
2 Scunthorpe men have braved the elements to take part in a swim. British Steel employees Tony Robinson and Colin Harvey undertook a 2-mile swim in Lake Windermere to raise funds for charity. The duo raised over £1,000 for the Lindsay Lodge Hospice in Scunthorpe. Now, thousands are expected to attend the Veterans Weekend in Hull this weekend. It's now in its 12th year and recognises and celebrates the role of the armed forces, both past and present. Current servicemen and women will be in attendance. A Spitfire aircraft and Lancaster bomber fuselage will be on display. The event takes place in East Park this Saturday and Sunday. Time to have a look through the week's papers now with my guest, Liz Bennett, Managing Director of The Ropewalk in Barton. Good evening, Liz. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much for coming in and your first appearance as a newspaper reviewer.
Oh, it's lovely to be here, Luke. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Liz. You're welcome. First of all, how are things at The Ropewalk in Barton going?
Well, we've had quite a tumultuous year with us finding out earlier in the year that the building was going to be sold and there wasn't long left on our lease.
Okay.
And we had to raise about £500,000, but we had great news in June that the Arts Council England are giving us £300,000 towards it. I would say great thanks needs to go to North Lincolnshire Council, who Councillor Rob Waltham and Paul Vickers, Councillor Vickers, had supported the application, and that made a real difference. And so we're within touching distance now of sorting it out by the end of this year.
Fantastic.
So,
I wish you all the best, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
The building will eventually be rightly owned to you.
Well, not me personally,
No.
but the cooperative that run it.
Yes.
So it'll be a community asset.
Excellent. And
yeah.
you do some great things there. Fantastic
thank you.
community hub. What events have we got to look forward to in the summer-autumn calendar?
Well, the autumn, we've got some household names like Toya Wilcox and Hazel O'Connor, Martin Kemp. So, yeah, there's quite a lot coming up. Some great music, comedy and theatre. So
names
lots to pick from.
we all hopefully do recognise,
Yes,
and maybe pop down there ourselves
Yeah,
to
if you
see.
want to go back to the 80s, come to Ropery Hall.
Step back in time.
Yeah.
Liz, what's your first article you've chosen this evening,
Right,
please?
well, the first one I chose, because I thought it was such a positive and wonderful story, was in the Scunthorpe Telegraph.
Okay.
A group of 30 young musicians from North Lincolnshire played to a worldwide audience at the Royal Albert Hall with the Royal Philharmonic
Fantastic.
Orchestra.
Let's have a look
What
and
an
hold it up to the
experience for
camera.
those youngsters.
Absolutely.
And I particularly liked the quote from a 15-year-old flautist who said they were a bit nervous the first time, but the second time they played, they'd got used to it by then. And I think, the nerves. I think if anyone older would have been, really difficult to do, but kids just take things in their stride, don't
Absolutely,
they?
and sometimes are very natural.
Yes,
at it.
absolutely.
And like you say, a fantastic opportunity, because the Albert Hall, it's a world-renowned venue.
It is, yeah.
Some of the most, the biggest names in music and
Absolutely.
Classical music. To be given that opportunity.
To be part of the proms, fantastic opportunity. What confidence.
Have
for
you
the
been to
future
the
they'll
Albert
have.
Hall yourself?
I
Liz?
have, yes, on a couple of occasions. So yeah, it is a magnificent building.
It's a great venue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
great.
on the stage, I have to say.
Okay, as a spectator of the
As a
show.
spectator,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
great. Next story, please, Liz.
Well, there's also another one in the Scunthorpe
Okay.
Telegraph, which it's just one of those things.
Oh,
It
yes, here we
appealed
go.
to me that this lovely lady had
Hold
a
it up to the camera.
106th birthday. Now, it chimed with me because I'm 53, so I'm half her age, and I think of all the things that have changed in my lifetime, what she must have seen. And in 53 years' time, if I live to that age,
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure there's a lot of people hope I don't, but what changes will be made. So she's seen things like, as it said in the article,
Yes.
the Titanic being sunk, but also
Absolutely.
computers
Yeah.
coming in and
Yeah.
all the changes.
And she looks very sprightly,
She
doesn't
does.
she? And
Yeah.
really good for 106.
I hope she's enjoying life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's
Yeah.
the next 106 years.
Absolutely.
Irene Fowler, originally from West Butterwick,
Yeah.
turned 106 this Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it says here, as we read before we came to where, when she was born in July 1911, King George had been on the throne for a year, the sinking of the Titanic was still almost a year away, and the outbreak of the First World War would not happen for another 3 years.
Yeah. Well, they built them tough, people tough in those villages.
They must have had strong cabbage and spinach when there was
Definitely,
growing up. Yeah. And like we were saying earlier before we came to air, how much has changed in 15 years, with the advent, the phenomenon of mobile phones and social media.
Absolutely.
Hard to imagine our lives now without them.
Would you have thought even 20 years ago that you'd be able to talk to someone in Australia via Skype or something like that? It is amazing.
And from a journalist point of view as well, the role of journalism has changed significantly because we can rely now on emails and telephone calls just at the touch of a button.
Yeah, no waiting for the Morning Post opening it and
that's
actually
right.
work done.
Or like going out as a news hound and news gathering and finding them stories. It's all there at the touch of a button. So I think technology is very important, but sometimes it can be too much of a...
Quite intrusive as well, can't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But well done to what was her name again? Irene,
yes.
So clocking up 106. We'll have to find out what her secret is, won't we, Liz?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's our next story, please?
Next one is the Grimsby Telegraph, and I love the story on work commencing on the flats for hospital staff.
Okay.
So 16.4 million for nurses. I mean, in these days, it's difficult to attract nursing staff, and they're paid a certain amount of money. So look at other incentives, and to be able to offer, sort of really attractive housing, I think
and
that's
it looks
fantastic.
very good, doesn't it? Very quickly before we
and
go
all
to
the
a
jobs
break.
that the construction work will bring. Yeah, that's a really positive.
Very positive, and a great way to end part one. Liz, stay with me because we'll continue our review of the week's papers after the break and all the latest sports news. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come this Friday evening, all the latest sports news with Jack, but still with me in the studio, the lovely Liz Bennett, as we continue our look through the week's papers. And an article from the Hull Daily Mail, Liz, about the bridge tolls, I believe.
Yeah, the bridge, about the calls to have the toll scrapped after the Severn crossing was obviously scrapped. And also the other news we had this week about the bridge, or was it last week, was the Grade 1 listing.
Yes, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's been
and
granted.
which was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Because it is an iconic structure, and I think it's something that we all look at when we live in Barton, because it's right there, you can't get away from it. But I don't know how I feel about taking the tolls off, really, because the maintenance has still got to be paid for, hasn't it? And I use the bridge quite a lot. I don't begrudge paying to go across to Hull.
Because I believe you're at the south side of the river.
That's right. Sorry, Barton on Humber.
Yes,
yeah.
So you would go across there to the North Bank.
Absolutely, yeah.
And would you say the reduction in the toll when it became £1.50 has that made a difference to your business?
That made a huge difference. It has. We get a lot more visitors from the North Bank coming to shows because £3 round trip. Because we don't charge for parking and things like that, it's actually probably works out the same amount of money as going into the centre of Hull, or even less sometimes, I suppose.
So it's helping people. It's helping bring people in from
the
north side. Perhaps they wouldn't have done before. Yeah. So the article here was obviously questioning, could there be an end to the tolls in light of the announcement, I think it was Monday, that the 7 crossings are going to be abolished by the end of
I'm sure there'll be lots of views on both sides.
Yes,
but,
I think so. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Watch this space. I think Ian Kelly of the Hull and Humber Chamber said that he thinks it would be a good thing for the bridge tolls to be scrapped and money can be brought in from other revenue streams.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
See how that develops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Next story.
Oh,
please,
just a
Liz.
quickie, because I really like this one in Grimsby Telegraph, that they're doing walking rounders.
Oh, right.
Now, I'd heard of walking football, a new men's sport a few years ago, but I used to love rounders at school, and that's and Links Inspire Sports Development Team are putting it on at is it the Bradley? I can't read it now, but Bradley Football Development Centre. Okay. But what a really nice thing to do.
Yes.
Go and play rounders.
And
We ought to have a go.
We should, Liz. We'll have a go because I'm not sure about yourself, but
couldn't do the running rounders anymore.
Rounders was one of the very few sports I wouldn't say excelled in, but one of the very few sports I did enjoy at secondary school because I did understand it and it was quite easy for someone like me who was very anti-sport. So let's give it a go and we'll feed back, come back on the server and tell people how it went.
Be great.
But like you say, walking football, that's become very popular.
It
I know
has,
East Riding Council, they've been doing their walking football scheme for about 2 years now. Estuary News reported on it when it was first launched. And it's become a very popular event. not just about the sport from what I can make out. It's a great way of, you know, creating a bit of a social club, bringing people together, and a lot of the time people who are perhaps isolated and don't have much of an outlet. Would you say, you know, these kind of events,
team sports,
activities?
you stop doing them as you get older, don't you, quite often, and it is a great way to meet people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's a lovely idea.
So when does this kick off? Links Inspire, so from Tuesday of this week. So 4:30 to 5:30 at the Bradley Football Development Centre in Grimsby. Let's go along. Book it in our diaries, Liz. Bit of musical news next, I believe.
Yes, I know, we both picked this one out.
Here we go.
Because Paul Heaton playing at HMV, wow, how lucky were those people that got to see him. What a superstar he is. And he didn't have to do that, but he loves the city, and, you know, he likes to give back as well. So, a bit of a testament to what a great person he is, as well as a great musician.
250 tickets, I think, were part of this exclusive gig where, as you've just correctly said there, Liz, he was doing an exclusive set at HMV in Hull with Jackie Abbott from their new album, Crooked Calypso. Have you heard any of the new songs from that album?
No, the one before I went to see him at Scunthorpe Baths when he was playing with Jackie Abbott was that last year, and that was a fantastic gig, it really was.
I mean, he's got such a distinctive voice, Paul Heaton, hasn't he? And he's one of those songwriters who has the ability for me to be able to understand what the lyrics are all about and what he's actually trying to say in his music, and a great voice. What's your favourite House Martin's Beautiful South song?
Oh, do you know, there's so many of them. Oh, you put me on the spot
Sorry,
there.
Liz.
No, I don't know. I love so many of his.
Like you, I love them all. I mean, Happy Hour was a great one to dance to, and Flag Day is one of them where you can just really feel the emotion coming through the song.
Absolutely,
Great. I digress. Great. Celebrating 25 years of hard work and charity. One of my stories I picked out, Liz, from today's Grimsby Telegraph. A group of hard-working and generous women who have helped countless good causes in North East Lincolnshire have celebrated their 25th anniversary.
A great story,
the
because
Ladybirds.
People who actually think about other people and get on and do it. There's so many gloomy news stories, and when you see something like that, it just makes you think, we forget there's lots of people out there that work very hard, selflessly for other people.
Absolutely.
Don't they?
And speaking of working hard, these collective group of ladies have, in the last 2 years, donated around the full figure is £9,843 to local charities, including the Women's Refuge, the Air Ambulance, Harbour Place in Grimsby, and the British Legion.
Fantastic.
So as well as being this great community charity, they're investing money into other worthy causes.
And hopefully they're probably
charities.
enjoying doing it as well. So
absolutely. And again, it's great to highlight, the hard work of charities and volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unsung heroes of the community.
Yeah.
So, like our 106-year-old friend from earlier, here's to the next 25 years of the Ladybirds. We'll follow that with interest. Liz, I know you've got a great cafe at the Ropewalk, and on the North Bank in Beverley, there's a fantastic cafe called Cafe Velo, which exclusively is set up as a cycling cafe. I visited them as part of my cycling series a couple of years ago. I think I came to see you as well at the Ropewalk in Barton, didn't I? And it's run by Gary Payne and Julie Routledge in Beverley. It's been on the go now for a number of years, but unfortunately the cafe faces closure because they've received some complaints about noise disturbance. Good or bad thing?
Well, I don't know. It depends how many people have complained.
Two people, apparently.
2 people. And how many people benefit from using the cafe and enjoy using it.
I think a lot do.
I think these things have to be taken into consideration,
because
don't they?
when I went in there to film On Your Bike a couple of years ago, it was absolutely packed.
Yeah.
And I've, walked by since, and it's always been very, very busy.
Yeah,
very
victims
busy.
of their own success then maybe.
Possibly,
if it's busy, that's where the noises come from.
Possibly.
I don't know, but I wish them well. I know it's difficult running a business, balancing up your neighbour, the needs of your neighbours, your customers.
That balance
it is.
And a decision will be made in September, so watch this space. Liz, you've been a great guest. Will you come back and see me soon?
Oh, I'd love to.
Wonderful, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Now here's Jack with all the sport.
Ahead of Hull FC's Challenge Cup semi-final clash versus the Leeds Rhinos tomorrow, head coach Lee Radford says it will be a phenomenal achievement for the Black and Whites to reach the cup final 2 years in a row. Radford's men won the trophy for the first time ever last season and will be looking to reach the final again this year. FC go into the game with an unchanged squad from last week's win versus Huddersfield, with Scott Taylor set to make his 200th appearance. The game tomorrow is taking place at the Keepmoat Stadium in Doncaster and kicks off at 2:30. Football now, and Hull City played out a 3-3 thriller in their behind closed doors game this afternoon versus Dutch side Ajax. New signing Michael Hector made his first outing for the club, playing the whole game. The Tigers went in front within the first 5 minutes of the game with a Marcus Henriksen strike. However, the Dutch side soon levelled courtesy of an own goal and then went into half-time 2-1 ahead thanks to Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. After the break, Ajax soon made it 3-1 through Frenkie de Jong, but Leonard Slutsky's side fought back in the latter stages of the game thanks to goals from youth product Dan Batty and James Weir to earn themselves a draw. The game today rounded off City's pre-season campaign, and preparation now starts for next Saturday when they kick off their championship season away to Aston Villa. Grimsby Town midfielder Jamie Osborne is expected to be out of action for around 5 months, the club have confirmed. Osborne suffered cruciate knee ligament damage in training this week, meaning he is unlikely to return to action until around December. On the pitch, the Mariners beat Winterton Rangers 7-0 last night. Assistant manager Paul Wilkinson took a select 11 to Winterton that included a mixture of first-teamers, youth-teamers and trialists. Defender Willem Appier, midfielder Jamil Roberts and fellow midfielder described only by surname of Pollock, and forward Jay Rollins all featured for the Mariners. It was Rollins and Roberts who impressed in the rout of Winterton, both scoring braces. The scoring was completed by Luke Summerfield, youth product Brandon Buckley and trialist Pollock. Town finish off their pre-season preparations tomorrow at home to Wigan Athletic. That game kicks off at 3 o'clock, and that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's it for tonight, I'm afraid, and another week here on Estuary News. As always, if you do have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553, or write to us at the usual address. As always, we look forward to hearing from you with any interesting news stories you may have. On Monday's programme, I'll be joined on the sofa by Chloe Rose talking about true love, and Liz McTernan on her Iron Man challenge. Have a great weekend. Thank you to Liz Bennett for being my guest today. From all of us on the team, good evening.